Please join me now in standing.
Parliament's first meeting since the attacks on Israel began with a minute's silence. Israel's flag had been projected onto Parliament and onto 10 Downing Street, while the Commons was on a break for party conferences.
Prime Minister Rishi Sunak!
Today, the Prime Minister reaffirmed his support for Israel, but repeatedly said allies like Britain would be urging Israel to stay within international law.
The elderly, men, women, children, babes in arms, murdered, mutilated, burned alive. We should call it by its name. It was a pogrom. As a friend, we will continue to call on Israel to take every possible precaution to avoid harming civilians. I repeat President Biden's words: as democracies, we are stronger and more secure when we act according to the rule of law.
Rishi Sunak's support for the Jewish community and his other messages, all closely echoed by the Labour leader.
As in any time of grave crisis, it is crucial that this House speaks with one voice in condemnation of terror, in support for Israel in its time of agony, and for the dignity of all human life. Because, Mr. Speaker, Hamas do not wish to see peace in the Middle East. They just want to see Israel wiped off the map. But Hamas are not the Palestinian people, and the Palestinian people are not Hamas. So Labour stands with Israel. Britain stands with Israel.
The Prime Minister confirmed that 6 British citizens were known to have been killed in the Hamas attacks in Israel, and a further 10 British people were missing. In the Commons, there were a few strident critics of Israel's conduct since those attacks.
What we're seeing in Gaza, civilian areas bombed, food, electricity, water, medicines, all cut off. Such collective punishment is a war crime under the Geneva Conventions.
One war crime does not excuse another. So will the Prime Minister please speak to Prime Minister Netanyahu and ask him to stop dropping bombs on innocent children in Gaza?
Some interventions like that were greeted with groans, but the Prime Minister and the Labour leader were in lockstep, urging Israel to do the right thing, but not labelling its actions so far as a breach of international law.